Ladies and gentlemen, welcome everyone. It is 11:17 a.m. and normally I will be talking about all the things that happened in MSI. The incredible job by BLG putting an upset against Gen G of all teams. Unfortunately, we are not going to talk about MSI today. That will be coming up until after the MSI is over, probably Sunday, and then I'll do my review about all the things that happen in format and East-West thing. No. We're not going to talk about that. Today, we're going to talk about academy teams, and most importantly, development. Now, anybody who watches Challengers League, actually not me, and not everybody watches Challengers League, knows that the reason why Challengers League exists is for one thing and one thing only: development. You see it in the LCK, you saw it in the LDL, you saw it in the EMEAs with the Masters tournament coming up. And unfortunately, you saw it in our precious little home of North America, where the Challengers League comes in. Now, the Challengers League in North America is trying to do all they can is to produce some of the best talent they have. You see the likes of Jojo Pin, Tenacity, all those kind of stuff, those kind of things. Unfortunately, the last several days has been an absolute dumpster fire in terms of Challengers League getting absolutely bailed out. I mean, look at this news. 100 Thieves, Challengers team gone. Let's see. Challengers League gone. And oh wait, there has to be. Don't worry, there'll probably be more news. There'll probably be no news. Okay. Let me just see. Okay. I'm gonna take my time. I'll take my time. Okay. Um, you see the free agencies from the LoL Gamepedia. Some of them are from Challengers League. So Challengers League in Cloud9 gone. Challengers League in Golden Guardians gone. NRG Challenger Series gone. Dignitas Challenger Series gone. Immortals Challenger Series gone. TSM gone. All these Challenger League series, even the FlyQuest Challenger League team is gone. Team Liquid, which by the way, a couple of years ago were the best Challenger League ever with Elia as their support, that's gone as well. So, my God, it is an absolute dumpster fire on the side of, on the North American side as well. And, viewership does not help, money does not help as well. I wanted to show you something. This is so yeah. What am I saying? I'm saying that this is an absolute dumpster fire. And to describe the dumpster fire, here's a former LCS player named Dom to tell you about
it. Like, on a serious note, it's really sad to see all the organizations just drop their NACL teams. I mean, part of the reason why franchising was a thing, the whole reason that franchising started was because the teams leveraged the fact that franchising would allow them to explore North American talent. That they would be able to build great rosters for the future. They would be able to invest in talent now that might not be great. Give them the LCS experience, and then in like 2-3 years' time, they could be top tier players. But they weren't able to do this before because of relegations. You were afraid to start one of these, rookie players, a North American, like a North American challenger player. Challenger in terms of like in the Challengers League, you didn't want to start an academy player and have them run it down on stage and then you just lose your spot in the LCS because of it. It's one of the main things that was sold to you as fans. And then now they want to turn around and be like, you know what, guys? Like, we actually really do care about North American talent, but times are tough, the economy is bad, so we're actually just going to destroy our pipeline of North American talent ourselves. And somehow that's supposed to be okay. When these teams have money. Like, they have money coming in. It's just a choice, right? They don't think that they're going to make direct money off NACL. Like, the way that they see it is like, are we going to be able to get enough in buyouts for the players in our NACL team to justify all of the salaries? And if the answer is no, then they're like, no. Yeah, then there's no reason to actually continue with it. Yeah, it's tough, bro. I think that it's really a bad sign for North American LCS that you have everyone trying to sell, and then as soon as they voted, this is the first opportunity where you could not have a challengers team, an academy team in LCS history, right? Like, it was part of franchising where they were required in the LCS contract to have an academy team. The first opportunity that they can actually dismiss their academy team fully, almost everyone's done it. Like 7 out of the 10 teams have done it. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
And you know what the response is from all the ownership and everybody else? They're just like scrambling, like they're trying to do something about it. They realize that, the Champions League is dying. There's nothing you can do about it. Riot actually paid $3 million to some of the owners to make sure that they develop the league, and they just, their owners just sitting in their hands and their pockets, you know, you know, not doing a thing, not doing an absolute thing. Um, there is a video that I'm gonna send you in the clip. It's a 1 hour video. I'm not gonna show you everything, but it shows like you know the lion from the NAL, the League of the LCS Players Association, telling them that Riot lies to them. Like the LCS's PA is telling Riot that they lied to them. It's a 1 hour video. I'm not gonna show you everything about that, but there is another video I wanted to show you. This is Vulcan, who is the most, how do I say this, most vocal person in all of NA right now. And he's probably the most vocal person in terms of, lack of passion, lack of skills and everybody else. He is telling to Travis Gafford that why can't they just start a union? Let me just tell you the piece of the video.
Those
God damn it. God damn it. Sorry, advertisements. Sorry. So
fake ads really
Yeah.
drive you mad, huh? The
Sorry,
game looks so
sorry,
fun in the
sorry,
ads, but when
sorry,
you download
sorry,
it,
ads.
it's
Okay, let me just give you the part of the video. So this is a Travis Gafford interview with Vulcan. I'm gonna.
All right, so first off,
Stop it.
I would like to ask you,
What's
viewer, are you currently part of a union? Chances are, especially if you live in North America, that you are not, because I think, unless you're in like a special trade group or whatever, it's just not a thing that most people find themselves being a part of. I know in Europe that they are more popular, and I'm not here in this video to talk about the merits of being in a union or not, or the value or strengths of being in a union. But I do want to ask you, if your answer was no, which again, most certainly it was, why are you not in a union? Couldn't everything be better for you if you were in a union? You should just go get in a union. I can't believe you haven't gotten in a union yet. The answer is you probably aren't in a union for many of the same reasons, and maybe not for some of the reasons that the pro players have not unionized yet. And the main reason is that most people feel like they do not need to be a part of a union. They don't think that the benefits of going through all of this outweigh the costs, or they are perhaps more happy with their job, or they're satisfied with their pay, they think they can get increases or whatever. They do not feel as though they need to have collective bargaining power with the people that are around them. And creating a union is incredibly complicated and not easy to do. So that's what I think is the most obvious answer as to why people, the players in particular, did not unionize whenever franchising occurred or ever since. And I don't think it is because they are lazy. It is because, quite frankly, unions are formed when people are working in really shitty situations, where they are unhappy with their pay, most prominently, or unhappy with working conditions or something along those lines. And quite frankly, up until now, pro players have had it pretty good. They have made a lot of money.
Okay, here's the thing. This is not an interview with Vulcan. This is just Travis Gafford actually saying something. So I'm gonna bar back in history. Anybody watch NASCAR? Well, actually, anybody who watches NASCAR know about the history of the Talladega and the union that's been formed with the NASCAR. I'm gonna go back to that video, but I wanted to show you a NASCAR union called the Race Team Alliance. Oh, right. Yeah, this is a report from the NASCAR back in 2020 talking about NASCAR's drivers union that nearly happened. So it's 19 so it was 1960. So I think it was 1960. So I think it was 1961. Yep. So Tim Flock and Curtis Turner were banned to trying to unionize in 1961 when the Professional Drivers Association boycotted September 14, 1969, opening up the Talladega Speedway when everybody was looking like tires were bad, driving conditions were absolutely horrible. And then NASCAR decided in a panic move that they tried to replace their races and all that kind of stuff. That the union never got involved. So, as Travis Gafford's saying, unless there are some crappy situations like the one we have in Qatar, where all the bad workers, less pay, and all this kind of stuff, then we can't even form it. Then, of course, the union cannot exist. So, okay, Akeem, why does the union have anything to do with the Challengers League? I believe that you know the union of the union is so important to make sure that we cannot let this happen. We cannot let the owners have have a say in all of this. We need to have a say in all of this, and it's kind of like a whole ego kind of thing. It kind of feels like, hey, I got all this money. Hey, I don't even need to work hard. Hey, I don't need to do anything like that. I could just like chill and relax and all those kind of things. And then the other person who have less salary and all those kind of stuff, it feels like, okay, I'm not okay. I feel a little lazy. I'm not gonna do that and anybody else. So yeah, I don't even need to do anything. So it kind of feels like there's this whole ego kind of thing going around there. Like I bet you the LCK is doing it. I don't know about the LEC. I don't know about the LPL. I don't know if they're doing unions. But I will tell you this: I don't see them having any egos or anything like that. It just almost feels like the LCS is just like the one big ego problem, and it can't even get together when it matters the most. And now in their dying hours with the Challengers League absolutely crumbling in front of their feet, instead of just coming together and figure out what they can do, they're just like, you know what? We'll see you guys in summer. Like, come on, guys. At least have some common sense. Damn it. We're gonna continue.
They have, in North America, most players have made a lot of money, and they have been able to negotiate around scrim schedules and all sorts of different things. Like, it is actually a thing where, for the most part, it has been fine. In fact, with the advent of franchising and as more money has started pouring into the scene, in some ways pro players have had more responsibilities. In a lot of ways, they have had less responsibilities, right? It is a situation where pros are over the course of my career, I've started getting more and more declines on interviews because teams don't want to make the pros do interviews, stuff like that. Again, we're starting to swing back a little bit as the economics get different, but for the most part, pro players have had it pretty good. And you now scream into your computer or go post on Reddit about exactly. It's like they had it all good, and that's why they didn't unionize, and they should have unionized. How short-sighted. But again, that is like the way everyone tends to function around unions. Like, I am just asking you, viewer, to consider the practical realities of the situation. If you are a pro player and you are very happy with your lot in life and you are making good money and your career is probably not going to last very long, you're not worried about what your relationship is going to be with your organization 10, 20, or 30 years down the line, do you feel particularly incentivized to unionize? You don't have a need to. Everything that you want has been taken care of. Now, obviously, things have changed. Although I would argue that like the NACL stuff has not changed the practical day-to-day lives of most of the pro players enough for them to engage. We'll see what happens. But like, I don't think that we should all go out and get angry that a bunch of pro players who had perfectly great situations for themselves professionally did not feel the need to go out and unionize. Again, traditional sports unions, which I will admit I'm not the biggest expert on, but my understanding is that those usually formed because somebody came in from the outside and said, hey guys, like you should all work together, get more of these profits, you're getting ripped off. Just not the situation that was happening in the LCS at all. But there are some other reasons as well. Even if you think that they should have just been able to foresee the future and do this for the goodwill of everything. Another reason is we rotate players in and out of the league constantly, and it is really hard to organize or get people together when, one, they're constantly moving in and out of the system, and two, they don't know how long they're going to be in that system. So there's a video, I think it was in 2021, you can go back and look on the video, but I did a video with Tim Seven Houston back when we did Run It, an episode of Run It, where we looked at the turnover in the league. And I think in that year, it was something along the lines of if you started in the league in spring of the previous year, you were more likely to be out of the league than still in the league 1 year later. There was that much turnover. And that is a huge contributing factor to why these players aren't able to like collectively work together, because you're churning players in and out of the system. And it's not just a situation where you're turning them in and out of the system and they're all North American, right? you have a lot of players who are just not invested in the LCS system, and that is a product of the players that the LCS teams have decided to pursue. So think about the amount of players, and I'm not trying to call anybody out in terms of like, oh, they should have unionized or something like that, but I'm just going to name some names. Dakui, Perks, Alfari, Whippo, Broxa, like there are so many players who have come into the league for a very short time and then left. And these are players that probably didn't come up through the NACL, probably didn't know how long they were going to be in North America in the first place. And so really what incentive do these folks have other than, I guess you could argue the general goodwill of humanity, which is not really the way a lot of people operate in these situations. Why these folks would have any reason to try to be like, what we need to do is unionize and make the system great for everybody. Like, it's just not, they are not as invested, for understandable reasons, in the LCS as other players who've been around for a long time, because it just doesn't make sense. Also, I would ask you, how do you create a union? I don't know. And you know why I don't know? Because it's incredibly fucking complicated. Like, it is not just a situation where you go to the mall and you go to the union store and you purchase a union sheet of paper and everybody signs it, and then you turn it into them and you say, cool, we did this. Like, it is actually an expensive process, and it is complicated, and it is something that people, like, it is just not as easy, I think, as some people perceive. And I would just challenge you, like, again, I'm not saying I'm Mr. Union expert. I did not go through and like learn every step along the way because it is so complicated in terms of doing this. You critique me all you want. I would encourage you to go to do the homework and prove me wrong. Tell me that this is a very easy thing. It's just not. Like, all of this is to combine in this video just to say, when you critique the pro players or you say to folks on Reddit, this is all like a thing, I knew they should have unionized, blah, blah, blah. Consider the practical realities of the situation. It is easy to sit in your chair at your computer or on your phone and write this comment somewhere or tweet it or whatever. But I ask you to think about the people that are actually in these situations, what their incentives are, when unions generally are formed, how they're formed, how invested some of these pro players are, again, as a result of the circumstances where we're turning players in and out, and ask yourself, is it really reasonable to expect that these folks unionized before now? Because I think it's perfectly reasonable to understand why they didn't. Now, I think there's a completely separate conversation to say, what should their response be now? And maybe I'll do a separate video about that. We talked a little bit about it on Hotline League. I think there are, for many of the reasons I listed in this video, there's still a lot of challenges. Like, if you are a pro player in the LCS and you are from another region and you might be going back to that region at some point in time in the future, or you are worried about losing your position in LA because you are unsure of how protections work around all collective movement against an employer, like, there are a lot of reasons for people to still be nervous, and a lot of reasons why there's an uphill battle for the players to organize around all this stuff. And I hope they do, because I do think that it has shifted a little bit where the players are less protected than they were before. But we'll see how things go. All right, that's it for this video. No outro.
Yep. All right. That's just that. I'm gonna leave you to your own devices. So let me just. I saved 2 Reddit posts from the Reddit pages of the League of Legends. Sorry, you have to see that I didn't get to watch it anyway. I was trying to log it in and give you the visual of what I'm saying about it. So on Twitter, and this is the LCPA alleges LCS orgs receiving $3 million. The $3 million that I just said from Riot Games in 2023, and Riot still cave in and let them pull the NLCL. Now it says if teams can't spend a $3 million handout from Riot to actually invest in the actual future of the league, and then they should be replacing the teams and not destroying the NLCL, this is embarrassing. And to piggyback on that front, the Riot gave each team 3 million this year to operate in the LCS and NLCA, but only 3 could afford to spend 15 to 20% of that to promote the future of NLCL. Shame on Riot for letting teams get away with it, and shame on every team that pocketed the future of the LCS. I mean, just look at this. Look at this mess. This is incredible. I think the red means that some of the organizations are just gone, and the green is kind of like they kept them. So my God, that's like 70% of the entire NLCL gone. Like Riot Games just give you a benefit to help and invest the future of the NLCS, and then they decided like, okay, thank you very much. I don't need. I mean, thank you very much. I don't have the my product anymore. I just have to keep it myself. The second thing is that I mentioned before is the viewership. Now, this is posted by Preston 2 days ago. I see a lot of anger on Reddit about teams dropping their Challenger League rosters. This is surprising to me since over the past 10 years of the league, I see almost zero discussion about the Academy League. According to each esports charts, that's esports charts, of course, NA Academy averaged 3K viewers per stream in 2022, compared to that to LCS, which averages around 115K views. This means that the main LCS stage was over 35 times more popular than the Academy rosters. According to NLCL statement, the average Academy team costs less than 70% of what it costs to run an LCS team. But it doesn't really matter if the NLCL team costs 6 to 7 less to run if it generates more than 35 times the viewership. At the end of the day, it's easy for fans to say that they care about the NLCL. But truly, their actions demonstrate the opposite. To me, it makes no sense, real sense, for people to complain about teams dropping rosters from a league they do not watch. It's especially weird to me that the NLCL receives such little viewership since a significant portion of this subreddit seems to constantly advocate for NA talent. A common idea I hear is that bad NL talent would be preferable to mediocre imports, but that sentiment isn't mirrored in people's actions. If domestic talent was truly more important than imported talent, then why did NLCL receive so little viewership? I definitely agree that there should be a talent pipeline in the league. Then that teams having good scouting will only benefit them in the long run. But my question is this: why are we entitled to having the teams run an academy league that they don't watch? I strongly believe in having good talent pipelines in the LCS. However, it's obvious that the current form of academy isn't doing it for either entertainment purposes because nobody watches us or for actual scale. Okay, here's the response. The point of academy is not to get high viewership, but to foster talent. Same as every major sports B league. It's supposed to be placed to compete on a path to LCS. Accusing people of not watching and misses the point and it's counterproductive. And there's other responses that I'm not going to read and I'm not going to make a long ass video about it. So let me just tell you that I don't think viewership is the reason why people drop the LCS. I mean, I said it again in my intro. Who wants to watch the Academy League? Who wants to stay up and watch Academy League all day? You can't. You just can't. We care about the major league. We care about the LCS and LEC and all those kind of stuff. We care about the major leagues. The minor leagues are just going to be like their own channels and all those kind of stuff. But the development and talent is there. I have one more play. I have one player that I wanted to talk about. Its name is Tenacity. Now, Tenacity was a First Blood Crusade, a Team Matrix player, and 100 Thieves next player and 100 Thieves Academy player, then joined 100 Thieves as a substitute, then joined the Academy and Thieves, and now he has retired at the age of 20 years old. Let me just tell you the age 20. You see a lot of pro players, including Faker, playing like in 25, 26. This guy has officially retired at age 20, at virtually the peak of his powers. Now, yes, I know 100 Thieves are not the strongest organization ever, but to have a talent like this and then decided to leave and like not even care, that's just really sad. So I have a let me just say a video talking about Tenacity retiring. Um, yeah. So I have a video about Tenacity retiring. It's 13 minutes, and I'm going to also link the description below. And I'll just do my notepads and just copy everything else, all the websites here, so you can just watch them and be amazed. This is, I think this is LCS Union Talk, and Tenacity's retirement streamer. Okay, let me just say that, okay? Yeah, okay. All of this will, don't worry, all of this will work out once I post a video and you get to see this. But the point is this. Tenacity at 20 years old retires at the time where, pro players are kind of like, at the highest level. At the highest level. You see Faker, you see Caps, you see all those kind of things. Well, Caps is not there anymore, but you see all these other pro players with in their 23s and the 24s. The fact that Tenacity retires at 20 to become a streamer, it just says two things. One, streaming is a huge deal right now. You see what Cajal is doing, you see what TI will dominate doing, you see all those persons doing, and they are making more amount of money than they have when they're doing the LCS and all that kind of stuff. So while having losing a young talented player in Tenacity, it sucks. I mean, I can't blame the kid. You can't blame the kid for actually decided that streaming is the best thing to ever happen right now and wasting their times in a league that nobody cares, in a league that nobody watches, in a union that they can't even form, in a organization, in a company that can't even invest the NLCL talent. Why would you waste your time playing in a league that nobody watches and nobody cares and nobody does anything other than to just being their lazy ass self and just go do streaming and you can say all the things they want and you can get away with it. You can get away with it and nobody will be bothered. So I can't blame the guy, I can't blame the person. And of course, another player I wanted to talk about is our boy Danny. He used to be an incredible player, but now, with mental health and horrible organizational businesses by Evil Genius's people as well, I will not tell you all the businesses. That's, of course, all the people have done it. But he used to be incredible. He used to be incredible as well. But because of everything that's gone on with Evil Geniuses, the organization dysfunctional things and all those kind of stuff, again, I cannot blame Danny for retiring. And listen, he is 19 years old. The kid is 19 years old. He's already won an LCS title. He's one of the best players ever. The Danny Pitt game against TL, although it was a bug, of course, it was my favorite plays of the LCS already. And I haven't watched a lot of LCS, but Danny was the reason why I watched the LCS because he is talented, he is young, he is incredible, and now we can't even get to see him. And I don't blame the kid because of anxiety and all this kind of stuff. But the whole situation was a mess. So when you combine the bad managerial types, the lack of development on the young players, and the fact that streaming is the biggest thing ever, and I mean, you can go on Danny's Twitch page right now, and he's got a lot of hundreds and hundreds of viewers, of course. You can't blame the kid. You can't blame these people. You can't blame the Tenacity for leaving a region that's has retiring players and can develop and pretty much having a league that nobody watches. And you can't blame a player whose organization is pretty much is horrible, and the fact that nobody got fired because of this situation. In fact, I wanted to do a one-up. The situation where Riot Games actually paid those alleged women, of course, of sexual assault and all this kind of stuff. So the CEO is stepping down. Instead of trying to go for the outside, and they decided like, okay, let's just grab someone from the outside, somebody who has no experience about it, but we can just farm them, work together, develop, and make them the best CEO. No, they decided to do something comfortable and decided to go inside. This is almost the same thing like the NFL does not want to hire black coaches because they feel like uncomfortability is not great. Jesus Christ, you guys were uncomfortable with women in your company, damn it! So don't even tell me about that. So you got an organization. So right now, the North American seed is an absolute dumpster fire right now. It is an absolute dumpster fire. And right now, the LCS is starting on June 1st. June 1st. The first day of June. And right now, I just feel like, how will the LCS, the broadcasting has been great. Don't tell me wrong. The broadcasting in the LCS, I heard, was incredible. But with everything that is going on around them, especially from the development point and especially from the talent point, it makes you feel like, who cares about the LCS right now? Now, granted, people would rather watch the LEC and grind on EU West servers than actually go into the LCS and go to anybody else. So here's a little thing. I will not save the LCS, but I will, find a way to give me solutions. So here are my solutions to save the LCS. So I'm going to leave you with some tips about this. So here's the thing. One, move out of Los Angeles. I think that's the simplest situation. It's not great. I know you got tax, but of course you have to deal with taxes. You got to deal with living structures and all that kind of stuff. You're gonna have to leave with money in a hole in their pockets. So, and ping is pretty much the other issues as well. You can move to look. Here's the thing, LCS. Move to Chicago. Move to Chicago right now. It's pretty much better than like any other situation ever. You can move to Las Vegas. I mean, remember when back then when Las Vegas was a gambling place and it was a parada for many sports teams? Now it's hosting the Super Bowl. Now it's hosting bowling. Now it's hosting some bowl games. Las Vegas is not a bad place to host events. You remember back then? Remember when CLG won it in back 2015? They hosted the tournament in Las Vegas. You could do it again with you could move the league into Las Vegas and it wouldn't be. I'm not saying it'd be better, but it will save a lot of money. It will save a lot of costs. You can hire a lot of different people. Monte Cristo already mentioned about it in Summer's Insight. You know, you can do that. Number two, I'm not gonna say kill the import rule because I don't think it makes sense. As Monty said, also he said that killing the import rule doesn't make sense because it also screws the EU and the Koreas, of course, because because they're cheap, they can be developed and they can be good. You look at Berserker, you look at Prince, all those kind of players who used to play on Challengers Leagues and all that kind of stuff. Those are great players. So I don't think so. Yes, while I say import rules make sense, it doesn't even work. Look at Golden Guardians' original team back in 2018. They were bottom of the table despite having all NA talent. I don't think it makes any sense right now. We are deep down in the rabbit hole of import rules. So my second option is to, you know, develop talent from college. Now you've seen this, of course. Maryville University is probably the best place and the best college to develop talent. We see Maryville University. We've seen a lot of college students having LCS thing. You can find talent from there. You can find talent from college students. They did, of course, the LCS every year, do like a college tournament every single year around that time. And you see the best college League of Legends you ever seen around. So if you can develop talent from your Challengers League, why not just go into college? Go to college, craft them, develop all this kind of things. I mean, not saying it's cheaper, but it's gonna be like, more cost effective. And then you find unknown tap potential. And then instead of just, rushing down and just like putting in the challenges, you can put in like 2 or 3 splits, practice them, play on solo queue and all that stuff, and it will help them develop and become further players. Scouting grounds did not work. It was working for a while when Blapper was picked and he was turning fine. The Challengers League is kind of working. You did all these kind of things, but it's not working right now. It is absolutely dumpster fire. So I think the next thing is college. It's college. It's not the best solution, but of course it's something else. Three, practicing macro. Now this is also the reason why North America has not succeeded. Basically, Challengers League and basically the main regions. It's that you have to practice in macro. Now I get it. Here's the thing, and now I'm going to talk about it on Sunday. The East are so much better than the West in terms of like, you know, macro play. Like they practice this thing 100 times. They practice situations in which that guy's gonna flank and that guy's gonna kill you and all this kind of stuff. And they just practice and practice over and over again. So the point that you make a mistake and they're gonna punish you so hard. So I think for the smallest time in scrims and all this kind of stuff, you have to practice your macro. You have to practice everything again. You have to practice the little details, clean up team fights and all this kind of stuff around barons and objectives and everything else. And that's just not the main. And that's just challenger leagues developing and all those kind of stuff. It's the main scenes as well. It's coaches in the main scene practicing and grinding and out day in and day out, not only in solo queue but also in teams, learning how to do all those kind of things. So I think practicing macro is going to be great for development and all this kind of stuff. And if it can work in the main league, it could work in the challengers league. You can develop all those kind of things in the challengers leagues as well. So fourth thing, and okay, let me just think. Hmm. Let me just think. So we already moved that thing to LA. We already decided to develop talent. We always have to pre pre um oh sorry. Practicing macro. What's the other thing? Um let's see. I think favorable time zones. Now I get it. I think the reason why the LCS got a lot of flack last year is because they decided to move the time zone to satisfy the European audience, and it didn't work. So they decided to move the time zones away. So here's the thing: you can LCS, you cannot please everybody. I think we already learned that, established that in a business like this, you can't please everybody. You have to please some people, but you can't please everybody. So I think the time zones is getting a little bit wonky right now, and that many people in Europeans don't get to watch a lot of big matches, and everybody else. So I think putting a time zone that is favorable for not only your region but for them is pretty much incredible. So here's my solution, and I think this is probably like a little bit of a solution. Here's the thing: why not put the LCS at around say 4 p.m. Actually, already done that at 4 p.m. How about maybe 2 p.m. at least? You know, sorry about that. Maybe 2 p.m. or something. That way the European audience will get to see some of the best matches ever. And 10 a.m. League of Legends, 11 a.m. League of Legends is not that bad. You get to eat and all this kind of stuff, and then you come to the studio that early or something. You know what? I think this is a really bad idea. I think I'm gonna get a lot of flame for that. So I don't think it's a really complicated idea or something. Let's see. Maybe viewership. It's also the thing that needs to be solved. How do you solve the viewership as well? If you told me that the CB LOL have more viewership than the LCS, you would have laughed. But here we are. So here we are right now. And I think how does the viewership gonna help? How does the viewership is going to help right now? And the question is that you focus on the players. I mean, the LCS has done a good job about it, focusing on the players. Now the question is how we get the viewership even more. There has to be some kind of other solutions. You trying to make it fun and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, that's probably the only solution. Stability. And yeah, okay, stability. Stability is probably the one and only thing. You saw Jackie Freeman, who used to be the LCS used to be the LCS commissioner. She's gone. Now we have to have a new commissioner coming in, and I think with the NACL going in, the viewership is doing bad. All the best people that we have, including Dash, mind you, who used to be a great host, and Riot decided to screw him over. He's now gone, so it creates a lot of instability around this league. And I think for the new commissioner to come in and decided to change all the things that Jackie has did and just screw it up and all this kind of stuff, and then going back to the whole sports center kind of thing, and that's not good. So right now the LCS is an unstable right now. It is a garbage, unstable league that nobody watches, nobody cares. And I think right now that we need some stability in there. We need some steady stability from the top to the bottom. We need some stability from all the organizations. We need a stability from the teams. I think we need to get. I think if I were the Players Association, I would get rid of some of the people who harassed Danny. I would get some of the people who did some bad things wrong, and get some people who who can stabilize. Look at Dan Snyder. I mean, we know Dan Snyder is a horrible person. He does some horrible crap winning the Washington Commanders. And now that he's gone, for the first time in a long while, Washington is having a stability manager who can be caring for the fans, who can take care of the team and actually be winning. Now, if I were the LCS right now, I think stability is the most important thing. You are not going to be achieving international immortality anytime soon. You're not going to do anything like that. But I think stability is the most important thing. We need stability. We need, like, you know, things to not go wrong every single time we do an international tournament. Or I do not want to hear another NLC North America news around an international tournament where the international tournament is probably the be and all end all. And we just saw another North American news. I just want some clear stability and some honesty. I think honesty is the biggest part. Now, if you watch the Travis Gafford interview with John Neiman and all this stuff, he talked about microtransactions and changing all those kinds of things. Where's that, John Neiman? Where is that after all the time you talk? You do all the talk, and all those kind of things, and you don't even do anything. So I think Stability and honesty is probably going to go hand in hand in that. You need to be honest. You need to be honest. Tell me what's going on, okay? You don't have to leave me in the dark, okay? Tell me your reasons why you decided to kill the NLCL. Tell me the reasons why you're trying to do the import rule. Tell me the reasons why you're doing a new format. Tell me all the reasons, okay? Don't leave us into the dark, okay? We are people as well. You're people as well. Riot Games, you're not perfect. You're never going to be perfect. But that doesn't mean to give you the right to just hide behind your back and do your crossing on the fingers and behind the back and saying, we're honest with you guys, and be like lying pricks. Just be honest, everybody. Just be absolutely honest. So, yeah, honesty is the best policy. That's what I'm going to say. So, move out in LA, develop talent in college if the NLCL go down. Let them and the main team practice their macro, trying to gain some viewership in a bit, and then create a stable and honest environment. In fact, get rid of some of the unmitigated junk from all the organizations and create some people who can be honest and stability themselves. That way, we can. I'm not saying save the LCS from a mitigated disaster. It's already a disaster. But here's the thing: if I were the commissioner of the LCS, and I were the commissioner of the LCS, and many people wanted to be there, but if I were the commissioner of the LCS, I would do a lot. I will do a lot of these things to make sure that the LCS could be a healthy environment. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to beat EU in terms of entertainment and viewership and all that kind of stuff. That ship is already sailed. The LEC is just 10 times better than you guys. But I just do want to be the punching bag of all the other regions. And I feel bad for the LCS because I already mentioned this in my LCS rant video from last year. If anybody wanted to check it out, be free to do so. But I just want the LCS to at least be succeeding. Like, just be a decent region. Like, don't be the LPL, don't be the LCK. Just be a decent region. Just be decent and normal and all this kind of stuff. But you can't be normal for about 5 months. Why can't you just be normal for 5 months? At least be normal. Just be a normal organization. You don't see any news from the LEC except like teams swapping rosters and anybody else. You don't see anything with the LCK, except of course one team changes its name to OK Savings Breon. You don't see that many often. But no, it's always about the LCS is in this, the LCS is in that. It's just tiresome, and it's tiresome for the casters, it's tiresome for the journalists, it's tiresome for me. It's tiresome for me. And I'm living up there. I'm living nearly up there. So this hurts me as much as it hurts you. And I don't watch a single of the LCS, but trust me, I say this. You guys are tired of the LCS as much as I do. And I think it's time for us Reddit people, like it or not, to put ourselves at divisions aside and solve this issue. Because the LCS needs help. Riot trying to help the LCS, but unfortunately can't. Now it's up to us to help them. And maybe this whole thing may be redacted or thrown away in the bin and nobody cares about it, and there'll be millions of videos, and then there'll be millions of problems, and there'll be millions of videos coming up, but I don't care. I just want to see this region be good again. Not being great. That ship is already sailed. It's gone. It's down the river and through the whirlpool. It's gone. I just want North America to be succeeding. I just want North America to at least that success, because right now it's on fire. The garbage is burning, and nobody has any kind of solution to just douse it or fire extinguish it. You just all wanted to see the garbage burn. And you know what? That's just sad. That's just sad. And it is what it is, I guess. Que sera, que sera. Anyways, anybody who likes the video, thank you very much for liking the video. Please leave a subscription and all this kind of stuff. And on Sunday, we will, maybe Sunday, maybe Monday, or maybe next week or something, we will talk about the MSI. We're going to talk about all the things that happen in the MSI, the good, the bad, and the ugly about this. And then we look forward to the rest of the summer, and then, of course, on to the road to Worlds. So anybody, thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Ciao!